Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is where MAGA comes to talk. Welcome, one and all. We got a lot to cover, and of course, what I'm going to begin with is this terrorist attack in Washington, D.C., the day before Thanksgiving. In fact, mostly being called a shooting, not a terrorist attack. It's an Islamic terror attack, but it's also something much deeper, in my opinion, which I'm going to share my thoughts about that with you. And of course, the female National Guardsman didn't make it. Sarah Breckstrom, she did not make it. Just a sad thing. I mean, young girl. The president spoke. Let me share this with you, and then I'll tell you what I think happened, and then invite you to call and share your thoughts.
Yesterday, we literally had no incidents for many months. It was the safest place imaginable, and this is a different kind of crime. This is a really bad crime. Millions of Americans are praying for those heroes and their families, and I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now, I heard that Sarah Breckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. She's not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. That's horrible. As you know, the other young man is fighting for his life. He's in very bad shape. He's fighting for his life, and hopefully we'll get better news with respect to him. And the monster that did this is also in serious condition. But we won't even talk about him. As you may know...
Okay. Wow. That's sad. I mean, we lost a U.S. soldier right here on U.S. soil. When's the last time that's happened? I'm going to tell you what I think happened here. And, you know, you are welcome to share your thoughts as to whether or not you agree or disagree. But I think that this is more than a terrorist attack or even an Islamic terrorist attack. I think this is this. Now, it's a holiday weekend. There's not been a lot of analysis of this. The people that are filling in on television are not the regular people. And most of the influencers like me are taking the weekend off. I was going to take today off too, but I wanted to share my thoughts when I found out that Sarah had passed and didn't make it. I felt that we had to talk about it. I think this is a deep state op that happened in Washington, D.C. This terrorist that did it, they said worked with the CIA in Afghanistan. And it looks like he had himself a pretty good life over here where they set him up. And I think this is part of what I've dubbed the Bring Back Bush operation that the deep state has put in place. And this operation began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. And what I think they were doing, you know, we had that deep state video that came out with the Congress people, but what was it, about a week and a half ago now? I've lost track of when it came out. So much has been going on. And they were, and I'm going to go through some of the audio as the show goes on from some of these people, but some of the Congress people involved had been warning for quite some time that there was going to be an incident with the National Guard, and of course there hasn't been one. You know, the National Guard have not been involved in policing or deportations. They've just been there as a presence. Federal agents, federal law enforcement have been handling all of that. But I think they were trying to start another Kent State-like incident. And if you are not familiar with Kent State, you're probably a Democrat. But so I'm not going to explain everything with Kent State, although I'm going to make some references to it. Well, we haven't gotten all the details of what happened in the incident yet, so I'm not going to go through those yet until we get all of the details of the shootout. But they got the guy, right? The terrorist, deep state operative, whatever he is, they got him, and he was wounded. So whoever took him down, I'm not sure who yet. Has that been confirmed? If it has been confirmed and I've missed it, please let me know. And if you want to call in about this and you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. If you're watching on the live stream with the green wall behind me, to see and hear all the audio and video, you got to go to my main stream. My main live stream is linked in the description of the video with the green wall behind me. And they took him down, and they had, with accuracy, obviously, after he murdered Sarah and shot the other soldier. So the National Guard handled this properly, but this is no doubt in my mind a deep state operation. And in Kent State, you know, what happened at Kent State with the National Guard, the National Guard were attacked by those students, you know. I know you won't see that on the documentaries about it and the history books that are written about the Vietnam War protest era when they get into Kent State. You would just be led to believe that the guardsmen at Kent State, just for no reason at all, mowed down those students. And it was a tragedy, don't misunderstand me. But the students did attack the guardsmen at Kent State. Okay, they were throwing things at them and everything else. I'm not justifying what happened. I'm not defending it or attacking anybody on either side, but the same people behind the Vietnam War protest movement are behind everything that's going on now. Don't you understand? The Vietnam protest movement was fake. It was 100% fake. The entire protest movement in the Vietnam War was organized by political agitators trying to do all kinds of things. And they attacked and were throwing things at the guardsmen at Kent State, and they fired. And I think they were trying to create another Kent State in Washington, D.C. on Wednesday. Because, you know, that area is where all the tourists go, because it's down the street from the White House. Everyone who goes to Washington, D.C. as a tourist goes to the White House. And, you know, I was planning on going or thinking about it. The hotel rooms are outrageously expensive, but I was planning on going to D.C. with my daughter for the 4th of July, and we were looking at staying in a hotel room in that area because, you know, you're walking distance from the White House. But I don't know if I want to take my daughter there. I don't know if it's safe to go for 4th of July weekend. I don't know. But I do know this. When Peter Strzok and his girlfriend in their text messages were going against Trump, remember what Page said, Lisa Page, who's facing indictment with one of the Pam Bondi grand juries? She said she went out and got a copy of All the President's Men, and that was their guidebook. Isn't that something? And remember what the late, great Rush Limbaugh used to say, that you know, the Democrats, they always run the same plays. They have that old worn-out playbook. Well, part of that playbook has been political assassinations, whether it's President Kennedy, Senator Kennedy, the attempt on the President Trump in Butler, Charlie Kirk in Utah, and Kent State, and this, to me, looks like an attempt to create another Kent State. Look, these crooked Congress people two of them have direct ties to the deep state. The first, I want to go through some stuff as we go on. By the way, I'm taking off today on the radio, so you're only going to get me here on the podcast and on YouTube. It'll be a best of on the radio today. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll go to the phones in a moment. If the way that this went down turned into a firefight, tourists could have been killed. And what would be what would be going on today if civilians had been killed by guardsmen in a firefight, right? But these Congress people, we've got one from the CIA, the other lady is from Naval Intelligence, and her husband was the national security advisor to Otto Penn Biden. And I think there's been a consensus, certainly at least among MAGA, among conservatives, that video that the Congress people put out, the sedition video, was a deep state op, right? Most conservatives agree with that. We've been talking about it for a week. And this incident in D.C. on Wednesday fulfills the warning they gave us in the video and before and after they made the video. All right, I'll take some calls. Your thoughts on this, but I do believe this was a deep state op that was an attempt to create a Kent State-like situation. That's my thoughts. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, good morning.
Hey, Richie.
Well, Brian, yeah, it's not such a good morning. I mean, to see a baby, she was a baby, 20 years old. Beautiful young lady just get, yeah, I mean, not for nothing. I listened to him mention the name. His name is Chuck Holton. Have you ever seen him?
No.
All right. He had some inside information. He said, first of all, somebody.
Hold on, Richie. Let me answer I'm going to answer the phones because they're ringing off the hook. All right. Yeah. Go ahead, Richie. What was the inside info?
Here's what. When she first of all, when she was shot, and the other guy was shot, somebody ran up to this guy and stabbed him in the head because he didn't have a weapon. And then I think it was a captain or a major came out and shot him twice.
Yeah.
Once in the buttocks and once in the leg. So that's how he got shot.
That hasn't been confirmed yet. We don't. I've seen some of that. But,
I know.
I'm waiting till we get the confirmation on, because I want credit to be given where it's due. If that's what happened, that's it's all good. I mean, but that just hasn't been confirmed yet.
Chuck Holden said that I believe he was in Afghanistan at one point. He's very credible. He has a lot of people on the inside. He said that these people. First of all, he says there was back in Afghanistan. The soldiers, you could trust these people that work with the United States government, with the soldiers up to a point, and then you couldn't trust them.
Hey, listen, if you remember, SEAL Team 6 that took bin Laden out was taken down because, first Obama stupidly told the world what SEAL Team did it, but Afghan soldiers told Al-Qaeda what helicopter they were on, what they were flying on SEAL Team 6.
Yeah.
So the Afghans betrayed us there. But I believe that this was more than a terrorist attack. I believe this was part of the operation that was behind the congressman's video.
All right, here's the deal. He said, real quick, he said you couldn't even take a shower without a pistol because you couldn't trust these people. You could trust them until you can't trust them.
Yeah.
I believe that this was, as being a lone wolf, absolutely wasn't a lone wolf. The guy stayed with these very rich liberals that sponsored him and his family. You know about that.
Yeah.
They had a $3.5 million house or something compound, and they hate Trump. They hate Trump. They were, as a matter of fact, on her website, she had sorrows on her website.
Yeah.
She was she was in the March No Kings.
Yeah.
And she was a very big activist. Crazy old cool.
No, there's no doubt.
This guy flew all the way from Washington. He's got a wife. He's staying on a wife and 5 kids. He flew across country, and the reason this happened at this particular point, the holiday, they wanted to send a message, just like when the World Trade Center was hit and the Pentagon was hit. And
this is the thing. This time of year, Thanksgiving weekend, it's a 4-day weekend. Everyone in Washington that works is off. The only people, for the most part, that are in that part of Washington this weekend are tourists.
Right.
And because nobody's working, because the government shut down, right? So it's mostly tourists.
Right.
And I think they were trying to cause a mass bloodbath. And luckily it didn't turn out that way, but that's what they were trying to do. They wanted civilians to be killed. They wanted by the way, by guardsmen in a firefight.
Right, and they also wanted to make people like you and myself and the rest of the American people who were celebrating Thanksgiving ruin their Thanksgiving and send a message that no matter what we do, we can't stop them. President Trump has to deport every damn one of them.
Well, what's going on here is they wanted to trigger an incident where guardsmen were responsible for friendly fire and the death of civilians in Washington, D.C. That's exactly what they were trying to do.
But he picked Washington. He could have picked any city at any time. This was a message sent to all of us.
All right, Richie. All right. I'm gonna move on, Richie. But I don't need to hear what somebody else said on another show. If I want, I'll get the transcript. All right. I think that's what was going on here, in my opinion. Okay. Insofar as the guardsmen, here we've got guardsmen. D.C. is the center of guard activity in American cities. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
How you doing, Brian? Good morning. My name is Garrett. I'm from New Jersey.
Garrett in New Jersey. What's on your mind?
So I spent 12 years in the Marine Corps, and I may have a little bit of insight on this stuff just from my experience. And really, I believe this comes down to two things that were consistent in my career that I saw. U.S. aid and Halliburton. They were consistent. And everywhere I went, every armpit of the world. And again, I'm right with you on this, and that this is a deep state. This is all planned.
Oh, yeah.
Just to put it bluntly, this is all planned. And it really is a squeeze on the finances of these folks. And they're using a lot of these, figureheads and politicians and things that cause chaos simply because the jig seems to be up. Mm-hmm. And the financial pipeline is
well, see, USAID is like a deep state CIA slush fund. That's what was funding all the deep state activities around the world was USAID. No doubt about it.
Absolutely. And that was a consistent thing. You saw it on all sides, mm-hmm. right? From the folks that we were working with, that we were green lighting, and green lighting means when you're working with the Afghanis or you're working with the Iraqis.
See, to get back to what happened in D.C., you have 12 years of military experience, right? You said Marines, right? You're a Marine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. This girl here is 20 years old, National Guard, young, I believe it was, as soon as I heard this guy had worked with the CIA, and you put it with that congressional video 2 weeks ago, deep state op to try to get a firefight going where there would be a friendly fire incident and guardsmen would end up killing civilians on the streets of Washington, and that would turn opinion against Trump's actions. And everything they've done, it's total right out of the CIA manual. Everything they've done against President Trump is to always try to turn public opinion against him.
Yeah, absolutely. This all tracks. It's all about causing chaos. It's insurgent behavior.
Yeah.
It's insurgency within our country to again spark. Getting things sparked up on both sides.
With your experience, with your Marine experience, why do you view this like I do? That this was a deep state op in D.C. Why do you see it that way? I'm a layman compared to you, right?
Again, yeah. As a layman or as a military person, if you're thinking logically in any way, you break it down to its core components. Follow the money, Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as President Trump and Doge and all these things that really looking into where all this funding is going, and all these different programs. Again, they spread misinformation on many different levels, and they make it seem like a lot of these programs were necessary or were being run efficiently. And we found the inefficiencies here. We've been able to get to the root cause of where this money is going, and it can't be hidden anymore. We've got the technology now that can go through tons of databases. It can learn things. The jig is up, and this is the final squeeze.
Yep.
And essentially, this is just to cause chaos for the midterms so they can re-implement all this nonsense.
That's true.
That they've lost.
All right. I appreciate the call. You added a lot. Call me again sometime.
Appreciate it, Brian. Thank you.
All right.
Happy
Take
holidays.
care. Yeah, you too. All right. Yeah, I was going to take the whole weekend off, and I wasn't going to return until Monday. At my wife's urging. My wife's still sleeping. We had a great Thanksgiving. I hope you guys did too. But when I saw that she had passed away, this soldier was gunned down in the streets of our nation's capital, I wanted to come here and talk to you guys about it. So I very much want to hear your thoughts. If you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. I will not be on the radio today. There will be a best of on the radio. But this will be the podcast episode for today. And remember, the Brian Craig Show podcast is available on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get podcasts, just search for The Brian Craig Show. I'll come up. And if you want to catch the show live in video format, YouTube or YouTube Music, Brian Craig Show there. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Yeah. I look at it like this. Think about this. What was a few weeks back or whatever, there was a never-Trumper strategy session that masqueraded as Dick Cheney's funeral, correct?
Mm-hmm.
And so could this have been something that was talked about at that strategy session?
I don't know. I don't know if it was done on that level or not. That's a thought, Mike. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, there's more to share. It's the Brian Craig Show. My name is Brian. Back after this.
This holiday season, give a gift they've never seen before. One that'll stand out and be remembered and enjoyed for years to come at secretdayelegance.etsy.com. That's secretdayelegance.etsy.com. At secretdayelegance.etsy.com, you'll find unique puzzles, beautifully designed playing cards, and handcrafted accessories, each one created to stand out and spark joy. These aren't ordinary gifts. They're one-of-a-kind treasures you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're shopping for family, friends, co-workers, or that impossible to shop for someone, secretdayelegance.etsy.com has the perfect surprise for each and every occasion, especially the holidays. Visit secretdayelegance.etsy.com. That's secretdayelegance.etsy.com. View the inventory. You will be impressed, and you'll find gifts as unforgettable as the people you love. secretdayelegance.etsy.com. Start shopping right now.
This is Mark Laporta, son of Tom Laporta and proud second-generation owner of Laporta Roofing. As a military veteran who served in the Army after 9/11, I've brought the same dedication and discipline to our family business. At Laporta Roofing, we've been serving our community for nearly 4 decades, and we're committed to continuing that legacy of excellence. Our team specializes in all types of roofing systems, from shingles to tile, slate, metal, and flat roofs. We're the go-to experts for single-family homes, HOA communities, and condo associations. What sets us apart is our unwavering commitment to customer satisfaction. I've personally implemented systems to ensure you receive the best in customer service and workmanship. Don't miss out on our limited time offer for a free roof inspection. Call us now at 954-604-4602 or visit us at laportaroofing.com. Trust the experts who have been protecting homes like yours for generations. Again, that number is 954-604-4602.
This is Dr. Philip Appleton. I'm a chiropractic physician. I've seen thousands and thousands of patients in my career. I've been a chiropractic physician here in Pompano Beach for 40 years. We're open 6 days a week. If you have sciatica, you have bursitis, you have tendonitis, you're tired of taking the pills, the drugs, the injections, and you heard that you have to live with it, well, there's a lot of times you don't have to live with it. I've had great success with helping people. My testimonials are marvelous with patients. They love the treatment because no injections, there's no medication, there's no surgery, there's none of that. It's strictly either the laser or the acupuncture I do or shockwave therapy I do. Open 6 days a week. Come in for the free consultation and I'll be willing to look at you and help you.
Take advantage of that no-charge consultation with Dr. Appleton. Remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are welcome even on Saturdays. 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast where MAGA comes to talk. So, of course, this CIA terrorist from Afghanistan came with the fall of Afghanistan, with however many unvetted people that Otto Penn Biden brought. And the late, great Charlie Kirk on his radio program and podcast gave us a warning about this. Listen, this is Charlie Kirk.
President Joe Biden's Department of Defense will accept 30,000 Afghan refugees into military installations following the collapse of Kabul. Boom. Political transformation. Let the country crumble. Do you know there's 5 million displaced people in Afghanistan now? This was all intentional. Joe Biden let it fall apart to now say, oh, I'm so sorry. I guarantee you Joe Biden's speech this afternoon will talk about refugee assistance and relocation support. Now, Joe Biden's going to be scrambling to make good on it, and the liberal media will love it. They'll say, oh, yes, okay, now I get it. Joe Biden is now fixing his own problem. Joe Biden is stepping up, and he's allowing a flow of people from the Middle East into America. Thank you, Joe Biden. You're such a hero. You're so benevolent. You're so respectful. You're so compassionate. Do you see what's going on here? What's going on here is Joe Biden wants a couple 100,000 more Ilhan Omars to come into America to change the body politic permanently. We're playing checkers, and they're playing chess.
Yeah. Oh, boy. Charlie Kirk right on the money, huh? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey. Oh, really?
Yep, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Don't
be so surprised. You called, right?
Yeah, of course. Oh, no, that's cool. My name is Brian Sabuni. I'm from Rochester, New York. I'm a right-winger myself. I do applaud Trump for some of the stuff that he's done. It's actually pretty surprising. I didn't know. I don't think I've been on a live stream.
Well, what do you think was going to happen when you called?
Oh, I didn't know how many people were.
Well, I can put you back on hold if you want. I mean, you know.
Oh no, it's all fine. I saw you mentioned the right before you picked up. I saw you talked about a little bit. You mentioned a little bit about the terrorist attack that happened the other day.
And that's what we're talking about.
Very, very horrible. Yeah, very horrible stuff, honestly.
You know, you said something that was a little I've never heard someone say before in your call.
Oh, what was that?
You said you're a right-winger too.
Oh, yeah. Yes.
I have never, in my over 35 years of doing a live show, taking live calls, heard a conservative refer to themselves as a right-winger. That right-winger, right-winger is, it's used as an insult.
Oh, really? I mean, I never
that's what
really
liberals call us. Liberals call us right. We call ourselves conservatives, Republican, MAGA, deplorables. You know.
I never really see.
Hold on. I'm going to answer some of these. Hold on a second here while I answer these phones. It's just, are you new to being a conservative, or you've been a conservative for a long time?
Oh no, I've been a conservative for quite a while. I mean,
what's quite a while?
2018, back in 2018, I first started supporting Trump, but socially, I was way more liberal then. I never saw a right winger. I never saw a right winger as an insult.
It's almost it's kind of like the N-word for Republicans. It's kind of like one of those things. Yeah, you don't call.
I disagree.
No, it is. It's used that way. It's used in that context. That's what liberals that hate us call us, right-wingers?
Well, I don't see a problem being called.
Well, no, I don't. I'm not. I don't have a problem with it. It's just an unusual thing for a Republican to refer to themselves as a right-winger. That would almost be that would almost be like a liberal trying to pretend and pass themselves off as a Republican might call themselves a right-winger, but it's just a very.
I don't see it. I don't see it as an insult. I actually think it like. The right-wing position is a true position. I think we should embrace that.
What? Yeah. What?
I never saw it.
Yeah. Yeah, go
I
ahead.
never saw it as like something insulting, and I've never heard any other Republicans or any Republicans or social conservatives see it.
I have never, ever heard a Republican, a conservative refer to themselves as a right-winger. Mm-mm. That that's kind of like it's kind of like sometimes liberals will call us Trumpers. We don't call ourselves Trumpers. That's an insult too. No.
Oh
no.
yeah.
We don't call ourselves Trumpers.
I would never. Yeah, I would say that. I don't think I've ever heard anyone call themselves a Trumper
or a right winger.
Like unironically.
Mm.
Well,
you used to be. You said you used to be a liberal. So what did Trump? What was Trump's position that woke you up and red-pilled you?
When I say liberal, I'm talking more like as a socially liberal. Like
what does that
mean?
Not
as much of a like socially liberal means basically not really upholding traditional values, not caring that much about Christianity. Thinking, like, another one example, thinking our country is just a melting pot, essentially.
It is.
And
it is a melting pot.
What? How do you define melting pot? Do you see like?
Well, when I was melting.
Americans.
Yeah, go ahead. Finish.
Do you see America like not being just like? Do you see America just being an idea, not just its like own nation? Essentially,
what America is a country, right? The United States of America. We're a country that and
Absolutely.
So what makes a country a country?
Its own people and identity.
Well, Michael Savage, he sums it up pretty quick, right? Michael Savage. You know who Michael Savage is?
I think I've heard of him.
Okay, borders. Right, you got to have borders to have a. There's three things. This is not the only three things, but these are three things Michael Savage says make a country. Borders, right? You got to have borders. No border. If you don't have, President Trump says this. If you don't have borders, you don't have a country, right? Borders. The second is language. You have to have a common language, right? Which is English, right? And then the third is culture. Borders, language, culture. So America, the United States of America. Okay, so what makes us a melting pot is that no matter and this is when people use the term the American experiment, they don't mean just democracy. They mean about the melting pot. See, in America's a very unique country. There's no other country as great as this one, even close. No matter where you come from, no matter what your background is, if you emigrate here legally and become a U.S. citizen, you're an American. However, we got to have our borders, our common language, and our culture. And the melting pot is where the culture comes in. Like on my mother's side, two of my great grandparents are from Greece. They came here in the 1890s, right?
Oh, really?
And my
Amen. That's great.
Okay, so my President Trump's is, a lot of people don't know this, but maybe you don't. President Trump is a first-generation American. Did you know that? A first-generation American? Did you know that?
Didn't I thought his grandfather immigrated here.
Well, everybody's grandfather may have, if you go back far enough. No, his mother.
I don't remember.
His mother is an immigrant from Scotland.
Well, yeah. Oh, well,
okay.
Of course.
Okay.
Scotland,
so hold on. But with President Trump, do you hear any Scottish accent or Scottish? He's an American, right?
Of course not. He grew up in New York City.
In fact, all of Trump's children, all of President Trump's children, except for Tiffany, okay, her mother was Marla Maples. All of Trump's children, except for Tiffany Trump, are also first-generation Americans because their mothers were from other countries. As an example, Barron Trump's mother is Melania, who's from, is it Slovenia, right? She has a very heavy accent. But Barron, right. But if you hear Barron, he doesn't have an accent. See, you know, all of the right. President Trump, all of his children except Tiffany are first-generation Americans. Their mothers were all legal immigrants to the United States, but they're American. They're not Slovenian. Or where was Ivana from? Czechoslovakia or whatever? Scotland. You know what I mean? That's the melting pot. That's what you want. You don't want people coming over here and bringing their third world cultures and setting up shop and turning civilized places in America into third world hellholes like Dearborn, Michigan.
Right. And, you know, as a European people, European immigrants are usually, to an extent, easy to assimilate into. But I disagree with just that having...
What other immigrants cannot easily assimilate? What other immigrants can't easily assimilate? You said European. That means whites, right? What else? You mean like Hispanics? Like the Latin Americans?
They may be not that easy to assimilate.
Well, they're of European descent too, you know. Spain and Portugal are Europe, so the South Americans are of European descent as well.
That is true, but the American founding stock mainly is Anglo, Germanic.
Well, this country was settled by Europeans.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, and that's why I think just the mere definition of America or of America as a nation, just being defined, it having borders, just mere culture.
Borders, language, culture.
What else did you mention?
Borders, language, culture.
Language, culture. Yes. It's also a people. There used to be a common people. One of the founding fathers actually mentioned this. And now you are right. America as a nation initially is diverse. Like it has its own subgroups of Americans. But there is a common thread, and this includes Black Americans too, because Black Americans do share that European ancestry, and they were basically a unique subculture that came that arose out of the soil of the U.S. essentially. And I do not see Black American culture as the same as, say.
Sure, no. First off, you're wrong. I give you an example. Yesterday, we have a tradition in my family. On Thanksgiving, we watch the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. I love that. We watch it every year. My wife and I and my daughter, And and if you watch the you say they don't have the same. Black Americans don't have the same. They do this thing at the Macy's Thanksgiving where they have cast of Broadway shows perform, which is sometimes good, sometimes bad, depending on, that year they did Kinky Boots wasn't so good. But one of the Broadway shows that performed at the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade yesterday was Ragtime, which is on Broadway. Ragtime is about Black culture in the early 20th century. You got the Harlem Renaissance and things like this. No, there's African-American, there's great African-American culture that we have here. It's just that liberals like you have been brainwashed into thinking things.
Why are you calling me a liberal? I'm not a liberal.
Everything you've said is liberal.
How does that make me a liberal? I was saying America has its own people.
No, you were taking issue. You were from your first comment when you described yourself as a right winger. And then when you were taking issue with the melting pot concept, America being...
I don't understand how that would make me a liberal.
Yeah.
And also, if I was, I don't know how me disagreeing with melting pot or with the whole...
Well, that's part of that. The melting pot, the great American
Liberals always bring up the melting pot. What are you talking about?
The great American melting pot is one of the things that makes America special, unique, and the greatest country that's ever existed. on this earth.
Yeah, but the term melting pot is used by liberals and progressives to justify mass immigration.
No, what the liberals teach is this tossed salad concept that America is made up of individual pieces that are different, not a melting pot is like a pot of soup. You can put everything in the soup and it's all one thing. They don't like that. They like people being divided. Listen, I got to run, but I appreciate the call. Welcome to the show, and call me again sometime, all right? We had a good conversation. If you're on hold, hang in there. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll be right back.
Are you looking for a gift that lasts a lifetime? One that's personal, powerful, and proudly American-made. At Back 40 Metalworks on Etsy, that's Works, W-O-R-X. They turn ideas into steel. Since 2010, Back 40 Metalworks has been crafting over 200 unique metal art designs, from wildlife and rustic decor to modern wall pieces and custom creations. With more than 30 years of experience working with metal, they know how to shape your vision into something extraordinary. Need a personalized welcome sign for your home? A company logo? A one-of-a-kind Christmas gift? Something for mom or dad on their day? Or any other day of the year? Every piece at Back 40 Metalworks is built to last, indoors or out, and every design tells a story, your story, in steel. Visit the shop online right now, back40metalworks.etsy.com. That's W-O-R-X, and view the inventory. You will be impressed. Back40metalworks.etsy.com. They turn ideas into steel.
On the line, we have Gina. She's a client of Jupiter Joe Thomas. Gina, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you, Brian?
I'm doing great, thanks. So you went and met with Joe Thomas about annuities. Can you tell me about your experience?
I can't say enough good things about my experience with Joe Thomas. He's a straight shooter. He tells it like it is. He talks in plain language so that you know, because I didn't know anything about this stuff when I retired. So I walked into his office, and immediately I felt comfortable. And I said, look, I know nothing about this. I don't want to lose my shirt. So please guide me in the right direction so that I'll be set. And he sure did. And I'm very happy that I went there. And I even got my mother to join, too. Now I feel comfortable that I'm set, and I don't have to worry about running out of money.
Yeah, there's nothing worse than running out of money before you run out of life, right?
Exactly.
Give Jupiter Joe Thomas a call and schedule your no-charge consultation. His number is 561-743-0999. 561-743-0999, and online, jupiterjoe.com. All right, Gina, thanks so much.
Thank you, Brian.
From author Alexander Mazzo comes the Amazon #1 new release, Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime. The Napoleon of Crime is left one final puzzle, his own story. After the Battle of the Reichenbach Falls, Sherlock Holmes finds a discarded coat, and inside it, Professor Moriarty's private journal. Not a memoir, a manifesto. Page by page, a mathematical prodigy becomes London's shadow emperor. Equations turn to weapons. Chess becomes choreography, and the streets of 1890s London become his laboratory. But one question haunts every entry. Why would a man who ruled from the shadows risk everything in hand-to-hand combat? Above a chasm, meticulously researched and canon faithful, Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime is Victorian noir, atmospheric, immersive, psychologically razor-sharp. Enter his mind if you dare. You may not wish to leave. Moriarty, the Napoleon of Crime is available right now on Amazon and Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited. Order your copy right now.
All right, welcome back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and for those of you that are wondering, on the radio will be a best of today. So I was going to take the whole weekend off, and my wife wanted me to take off till Monday, which I was going to do. But because the female guardsman passed away from this deep state terrorist attack in D.C., I felt compelled to come and share my thoughts. That last caller, what do you guys think? Was he a liberal or a right-winger? What do you guys think? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air.
My name's Joseph.
Yeah, Joseph.
I'm getting a little bit of echo. Hold on, let me walk away from my computer.
Yeah. You could just mute the computer, and that would take care of it.
Or that.
All right. What's on your mind?
My name's Joseph, and I'm from Indiana.
All right, Joseph.
I'm a conservative Christian.
Uh-huh.
The echo's still kind of messing with me. Hold on.
Mute the computer. Yeah, mute the computer.
Man, you get started early.
Mm-hmm. You did mute the computer. All right, I'm gonna move on because I got a lot to do here, and I don't have time to play around.
No, I can hear you now. I'm sorry.
All right. It's your third. You got 2 strikes against you.
So basically, I think if you're here, you should assimilate. I mean, if you're not here to assimilate, then I don't know if you should be here, honestly.
Well, if you immigrate to America, you should, want to be an American, and being an American is not, turning Dearborn, Michigan, or New York City into your thing. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. All right. So the president, he had a press conference yesterday at Mar-a-Lago, and I tell people often. I've been in this room at Mar-a-Lago where the president is at right here, and I tell this to people a lot. And anyone who's been there knows exactly what I'm talking about. Anytime you see Mar-a-Lago on video like this on television, it does not do it justice. When you go in there and you see the walls in the gold, I tell people if the French kings live today, they live at Mar-a-Lago. It is so majestic and beautiful, and it doesn't look 10% as good as it looks in person on video. But anyway, he had this press conference yesterday at the White House.
A question about this tragic shooting in Washington, D.C. U.S. officials say that the suspect worked very closely with the CIA in Afghanistan for years, that he was vetted, and the vetting came up clean.
He went cuckoo. I mean, he went nuts. And that happens, too. It happens too often with these people. You see them. But look, this is how they come in. This is how they're standing on top of each other, and that's an airplane. There was no vetting or anything. They came in unvetted. And we have a lot of others in this country. We're going to get them out. But they go cuckoo. Something happens to them.
Your DOJ IG just reported this year that there was thorough vetting by DHS and by the FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid?
I love it. This is so good. This is so good. Are you stupid? Yeah, she is stupid, Mr. President. Oh, let me rewind it. This is beautiful. Isn't it? It's so... I'm going to rewind it. We'll play the whole thing there, uninterrupted. It brings a tear to my eye. It really does. And I'm not talking about figuratively. To have a president who's for us, not others. Not for some military contractor, not for some country somewhere else, right? But for us, the American people. It's something that you haven't experienced in a long time, if ever.
The FBI of these Afghans who were brought into the U.S. So why do you blame the Biden administration?
Because they let them in. Are you stupid? Are you a stupid person? Because they came on a plane along with thousands of other people that shouldn't be here, and you're just asking questions because you're a stupid person. And there's a law passed that it's almost impossible not to get them out. You can't get them out once they come in. And they came in, and they were unvetted, they were unchecked, there were many of them, and they came in on big planes, and it was disgraceful. And if you look, you'll see there was a law passed. It makes it almost impossible not to let them in, not to certify them, so to speak, once they come in. And they came in, and they shouldn't have come in. And frankly, the whole thing was a mess. The whole Afghanistan situation was a mess. It should have never taken place. If we're going to go out, and we would have gone out because I had everybody ready to go, we were going to go out with strength and dignity and precision, and we would have left from Bagram, and we would have kept Bagram, by the way, because of its very close relationship to China and where they make their missiles. But when you let the people come in by the thousands and thousands and thousands, they made a terrible mistake.
Yeah. For those of you that are just tuning in, of course, I'm talking about this terror attack in D.C., and what I personally believe is that it was a deep state attack, part of this Bring Back Bush operation that began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. The Marjorie Taylor Greene thing is a part of that. The video that the Congress people put out is a part of that. And this incident in D.C. is a part of that operation. And just to recap what I did at the beginning of the show, then I'll get into the new stuff, just the abbreviated version. You can go back and rewind and hear my open where I detail this. But I believe they were trying to create another Kent state. They were trying to get a gunfight going where civilians would have been killed with friendly fire from National Guard troops to turn the public against President Trump's position on using the National Guard in American cities to fight crime, to fulfill the video. That's my premise of the show today. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. The president posted this to Truth Social. Even as we have progressed technologically, immigration policy has eroded those gains and living conditions for many. I will permanently pause migration from all third world countries, well, that's almost everybody, to allow the U.S. system to fully recover. Terminate all of the millions of Biden illegal admissions, including those signed by Sleepy Joe Biden's auto pen, and remove anyone who is not a net asset to the United States or is incapable of loving our country. End all federal benefits and subsidies to non-citizens of our country. Denaturalize migrants who undermine domestic tranquility and deport any foreign national who is a public charge, security risk, or non-compatible with Western civilization. Wow. This is awesome. This is what I mean about having a president that's there for us. These goals will be pursued with the aim of achieving a major reduction in illegal and disruptive populations, including those admitted through an unauthorized and illegal auto pen approval process. Only reverse migration can fully cure this situation. Other than that, happy Thanksgiving to all, except those that hate, steal, murder, and destroy everything that America stands for. You won't be here for long. That's the President of the United States. Whew. See, that's why I support Trump having a third term. There's too much that has to be fixed, right? He needs that third term, really, to get it done. Here's another clip. This is the president in this press conference yesterday at Mar-a-Lago. You see here, the lighting here, you get to see, it still doesn't do it near justice. Not even. You start to see the different color. See how white it is? The Mar-a-Lago wall.
As you may know, DHS has confirmed that the suspect is an Afghan national flown here by the previous administration, who was such a bad administration. And I have a picture of a plane. This is what it looked like when they came in. It was total bedlam. Do you remember that period of time? Total bedlam. People crammed onto the plane. And the toughest, meanest, most capable physically got on the plane, not the people that we were looking for or that they wanted to bring in. Here's a picture for you. Just take a look at that plane. Mm-hmm. Standing on top of each other and sitting on top of each other. This is what we had under the Biden administration. That whole thing should have never, ever happened. They should have left from a different base. They should have left from Bagram, as you know, and it would have been a much different story. But they didn't do that, and this was just a rout, just a terrible situation. This heinous atrocity reminds us that we have no greater national security priority than ensuring that we have full control over the people that enter and remain in our country. For the most part, we don't want them. They come in illegally. They have a lot of problems. Their countries force them in because their countries are smart. They don't want them. Right. Let's give them to the Americans to take care of. They come out of jails in many cases, mental institutions, they're gang members, they're drug dealers. We don't want them.
Yeah. And, see, if this operation would have been successful, this deep state operation, what would the dialogue be today, right? What they were when I say they were trying to create another kin state, they were trying to get a firefight going where civilians were killed by the guardsmen in friendly fire, right? And in their mind, that would have turned opinion against President Trump, and people would have started calling for pulling the guard out. So a lot of people may wonder, maybe you haven't even thought about it. Why are the liberals, why are the Democrats, why is the deep state so obsessed with stopping, ending crime in these blue cities? Why? See, everything the Democrats do is to keep the American people divided. Everything. Christian against gay, right? Even gay against trans these days. White against black. Hispanic against whatever. This is what they do. And they like the crime in these cities because it keeps division going. Get it? All right. I got a lot more to share. If you'd like to call in and you're watching live, the number is pinned in the live chat. It's toll free, 888-465-2631, 888-465-2631. Not on the radio live. There's a best of running on the radio. This is a special edition of the program because our female guardsman died at the hands of this deep state terrorist, and that's why I'm here with you right now. We're processing what happened and what these evildoers. This is part of the Bring Back Bush deep state op. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Pasadena.
All right, Pasadena. What's on your mind? Hold on,
Hey,
Pasadena. Let me answer these other lines. Yep, go ahead. Yep, go ahead, Pasadena.
Brian Craig.
That's me.
So, what about January 6th? If you're so concerned about the Capitol, what about January 6th? Did that not concern you?
January 6th? It's not here yet. I mean, it's only November 28th. What do you mean?
No, don't play smart. Don't play dumb with me. You know what happened.
Tell me what happened. I don't know what you're.
You know what happened.
I know what happened, but I don't know if you know what happened.
Was it Antifa or was it the FBI or was it peaceful people? Which one is it? You guys got to pick.
It was a mix. You're talking about January 6th. It was a mix of the deep state. Well, of course, the FBI was involved. There were over 200 agents in the crowd, and Antifa and other leftist groups. That's correct. But I don't understand. But see, on this program, we're talking about news and events happening now. Why are you talking about events that happened many years ago?
Well, because it happened in D.C. It happened in D.C. And you're so concerned about it. And you think adding 500 more National Guard troops is going to have anything? You think that's going to... And what about, National Guard troops stopped this terrorist from killing more people on Wednesday. You're aware of that?
Of course he's a terrorist.
Yes,
he's an Afghan. He's a Muslim from Afghanistan that was working with the CIA. And by the way, he yelled Allah Akbar when he killed the guardsman. When he shot the guardsman, he was yelling Allah Akbar. That's not terrorism to you?
Okay, so all right. How do you feel about Trump making a deal with the Taliban right before his term?
I don't understand. So we're dealing with something. We're dealing with something that you're uncomfortable with. That's your side, killing a National Guardsman. So you want to go through this list of things with Trump until you hit on something? That's not how I roll. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yes, this is Sandra from Indiana.
Hey, Sandra.
Hey. And I was calling, too, because the liberals seem to forget that during the Iraqi war under Bush, where they claimed there were weapons of mass destruction, later in years, Colin Powell claimed that the intelligence gave them misinformation.
Yeah, British intelligence.
Also under Obama, and also under Obama, he operated airstrikes in Pakistan and Somalia and Yemen.
Okay.
And then Biden caused 13 soldiers to get killed. So they can't blame any of this on President Trump because those past presidents have given their own command to the military to do
what I'm telling you is this terrorist, I mean, that last caller wouldn't even agree this was a terrorist. The guy's Muslim. He's from Afghanistan. He worked with the CIA in Afghanistan, and he was yelling Allah Akbar when he shot the guardsman on Wednesday in D.C., but he won't call it. The other guy doesn't even know that's terrorism. Listen, everything you said is correct, but I want to try to focus in on what's going on now in D.C.
Oh, I understand. And I do believe he was a terrorist. And I do believe the Traitor Six should be charged.
Yeah, I agree with that. They should be charged. And Kelly should be recalled to duty. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right. Once, twice. You missed your chance. All right. If you're on hold, stand by. We're going to take a quick break. I'm Brian, and we'll be right back.
Sometimes the quietest places hide the biggest secrets. From author Aaron Macy comes a brand new Ivy Sinclair cozy mystery, and you can get it for free right now online at AaronMacyMystery.com. Murder in the Guest House. Ivy Sinclair thought she was leaving everything behind her in Chicago, but when a fierce nor'easter forces her to take shelter at a remote cliff-top guest house, she finds herself caught in a mystery she never expected. A famous blogger is found dead behind a locked door. Her clever beagle Watson leaves muddy paw prints near the scene. And suddenly, Ivy isn't just the new arrival, she's the prime suspect. Everyone trapped in the storm has a secret. Everyone has a motive. And as Ivy digs deeper, she discovers that the real killer may be hiding in plain sight. If you're a fan of small town charm, smart heroines, and cozy mysteries with a twist, Murder in the Guest House is your next must-read book. Get your free copy of Murder in the Guest House from author Aaron Macy right now on the author's website, AaronMacyMystery.com. That's AaronMacyMystery.com, and step into a mystery you'll never forget. Murder in the Guest House from author Aaron Macy online at AaronMacyMystery.com. This holiday season, give a gift they've never seen before. One that'll stand out and be remembered and enjoyed for years to come at secretdayelegance.etsy.com. That's secretdayelegance.etsy.com. At secretdayelegance.etsy.com, you'll find unique puzzles, beautifully designed playing cards, and handcrafted accessories. Each one created to stand out and spark joy. These aren't ordinary gifts. They're one-of-a-kind treasures you won't find anywhere else. Whether you're shopping for family, friends, co-workers, or that impossible to shop for someone, secretdayelegance.etsy.com has the perfect surprise for each and every occasion, especially the holidays. Visit secretdayelegance.etsy.com. That's secretdayelegance.etsy.com. View the inventory. You will be impressed, and you'll find gifts as unforgettable as the people you love. secretdayelegance.etsy.com. Start shopping right now. In the French Alps, love can melt even the coldest hearts. From author Emily Harrison comes the winter romance Peak Season. It's a story of heartbreak, desire, and redemption set in a remote ski resort where love can be as dangerous as the mountains themselves. Lola Maxwell isn't looking for love. She's just trying to keep her family from falling apart. A last-minute job at a remote ski resort seems like the perfect escape. Work hard, stay out of trouble, and forget the past. Then Harley Nash walks in. He's the ski team lead. She promised herself she wouldn't fall for anyone, but the mountains have a way of breaking down walls, and the fire between them burns hotter than either of them expected. As snow falls and secrets surface, they'll discover that some risks are worth taking and some hearts are worth the fall. Peak Season from author Emily Harrison is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and other online booksellers. Order your copy right now. One reckless decision, that's all it took to send Robert Wallace into a nightmare that would last 4 long years. From author Robert Wallace comes your next must-read book, Swallow Hell, a story of survival, redemption, and a long road to recovery, inspired by a real-life story. In Swallow Hell, the author relives the events that dragged him from a moment in Ecuador into some of the toughest prisons in Europe, from the brutal blocks of Istanbul to the cold, unforgiving cells of Munich. He survived on instinct, grit, and the thin thread of trust he formed with fellow inmates that became lifelines in a world where violence, paranoia, and desperation controlled everything. But the story doesn't end there, because the man who endured homelessness, alcoholism, addiction, and near-death moments is the same man who chose to fight his way back, to rebuild, to recover, to reclaim his life. This is more than a memoir. It's a warning, a confession, and a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, as well as a brutally honest look at how far a person can fall and how hard they can climb back. Swallow Hell, from author Robert Wallace, is available right now on Amazon in Kindle, paperback, and free with Kindle Unlimited, as well as the author's website, robertwallaceswallowhell.com. Order your copy today.
All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. All right, we're covering this this attack in D.C., which I believe was a deep state operation. That's the Operation Bring Back Bush that began with the assassination of Charlie Kirk. A lot's happened in between that we've been covering. And this was to fulfill the prophecy that these traitorous Congress people put out in that video almost 2 weeks ago. All right, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello there. My name is Sal.
This call will be recorded. This call is no longer being recorded.
No. I'm not talking with somebody that's got apps running on the phone. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, I'm Emil from Los Angeles.
Hey, Los Angeles. What's on your mind?
Is the economy good again?
Yes.
Yeah. I thought people were losing jobs. The cattle farmers giving $40 billion to Argentina.
We didn't give $40 billion to Argentina. That's not true.
Oh, was it? Oh, my bad. It was $20 billion. Right?
No, we didn't give $20 billion either. In fact, we didn't give 20 cents to Argentina. That's not true.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to know the truth?
Okay.
Do you want to know the truth? I'll tell you the truth. I'll tell you the truth. But no, I'm not going to go through a laundry list with you. You said where are you calling me from?
I said Los Angeles.
There's no place, if you're looking for good paying jobs, Los Angeles is the best place to be right now. There's more job openings in Los Angeles than any other major city in the United States. You are aware of this, correct?
Okay, so I don't know, you're like flip-flopping.
Because of no, I'm not flip-flopping. In Los Angeles, because of it, excuse me. Is LA technically what?
It's a blue state. We're dangerous and.
No, why do you think I say? I'll give you the answer if you don't know. I say if you're looking for work, there's no better city to be in if you're in a major city than Los Angeles, California right now. Why do you think I say that?
Oh, dude, I work HVAC.
I didn't ask you for your work history. Why do you think I say that Los Angeles is the best place if you're looking for good paying work or work of any kind? Why do you think I say that?
Blue states are the best to work at.
No. The reason is because of the deportations in California. There's a lot of job vacancies. A lot of people have been deported or are not showing up for work out of fear of being deported. So there's more job openings in Los Angeles right now probably than in the entire history of Los Angeles.
Wait, since you know so much, do you know how much immigrants give in taxes that goes towards Social Security?
No, they're not paying. If they're here illegally, they do not have Social Security numbers that are valid, so they're not paying into Social Security.
But why? But they pay taxes.
No, sales tax don't count. You can't if you don't have if you're undocumented. How do you pay?
If you're retired.
How do you pay taxes if you're undocumented?
Okay, through where you have to. If you look it up.
Oh my goodness.
No, look it up. Why don't you look it up?
No, I don't have to look it up. I got you. If you're undocumented, how do you pay taxes if you're undocumented? You have no documents.
Because there's a W-2 forms and they pay their taxes.
Those are fraudulent forms and numbers if they have them.
How do you know they're fraudulent?
Because they're undocumented. Why if you're in the country illegally, you don't have valid work papers. That's why that's part of what makes you illegal. Oh my goodness.
Okay.
LA public schools people.
They don't benefit.
What?
They don't benefit.
Of course they benefit. They're sucking off of our system. Economy? Yeah, the illegals suck off our system. Of course they're benefiting. Well, Americans like me, we're the ones that don't benefit.
Well, what do you do?
What I'm doing right now. I'm a professional broadcaster. This is what I do for a living. Yeah, I broadcast on. I host a morning show that's on a whole bunch of FM radio stations, and I also live stream on YouTube and have a podcast. My podcast is ranked 150th in the United States out of podcasts, and of course I'm on YouTube and I host a morning radio show.
Before that?
I've been a professional broadcaster since I got out of high school. I've done this my whole adult life.
Well, you know what? You don't have that many followers. I mean,
I have over 120. I have over 120,000 followers on YouTube alone. My podcast, the Brian Craig Show podcast, is in the top 1.5% of podcast listener-wise in the world globally, and in the United States, my podcast is ranked 150th. Without any corporate backing or anything like Rogan and Ben Shapiro and stuff have. So no, I have hundreds of thousands of people. I have millions of people who listen to me each and every month.
So what do you think about when X, had that?
You keep bringing things up, and I shoot you down, and then. But what about this other thing?
What do you think about the faith?
This is what I think. This is what I think.
You think the economy's good?
Yes.
Do you think the economy's good right now?
Yes, it's excellent. It's booming.
Well, why did Trump fire the person that?
I'll tell you how I know it's booming. Before I started this program today, I'm in Florida. I'm on the East Coast. So I went out to Starbucks. And I was on the road. This is the day after Thanksgiving, right? And do you celebrate Thanksgiving?
Oh, hell yeah, I love Thanksgiving.
Okay, so
I'm American like you too.
I know, yeah. You're not an American like me. I promise you that.
No, I'm more American than you.
You're more American than me?
American than you are.
How's that possible?
Yeah, by 1,000%.
How are you more American than me? What are you, an Indian?
Fascism like you do.
How are you more American than me?
I don't believe in fascism.
You don't believe in it? You mean you don't support it? Well, I'm going to finish. I'm going to answer your question. You had asked, is the economy doing well? And not only is it doing well, I know it's doing well. I'm on the road. It's about 10 minutes to 5 a.m. I go to Starbucks this morning. Might have been 5 to 5. The road was packed, like rush hour level. I couldn't believe it. You know why the road was packed? It's Black Friday, and people are out shopping. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
You hung up on me.
Yeah, I'm done. I moved on. I'm done talking to you. You can call me another day, but.
Oh, why? What?
Because I'm doing a show here, and I'm not talking to incoherent people entering the show. No. The only thing I'm scared of is you boring my audience to death. But if you call me, you're welcome to call me on another day. But if you call again, it's one call per show. If you call back, we'll never talk again. You'll never talk to me again if you call back one more time. Okay?
So I won. I beat you. I won. That's all. No,
if that gets you through the day, tell yourself that. Yes, if that gets you through the day, you keep telling yourself that. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Daryl calling from Atlanta.
Hey, Daryl, what's on your mind?
I have so much, I want to say, empathy, sympathy for this president and what he had to deal with.
Oh yeah.
From the milquetoast Republicans that won't support him the way they should support him, to the communists on the left.
Absolutely.
When I look at this thing, nobody wants to start at the genesis of what caused that shooting. It started with sleazy, sleepy Joe allowing all of these people, all these illegals to come into this country. I know. I heard President Trump said 20 million. I personally believe it's more than that. I believe it's probably about 30 to 40 million.
Yeah, maybe.
That have entered this country illegally.
Maybe.
And the guy from California who didn't understand that if they're undocumented, there's no way that they're legal.
Exactly. You can't. If you don't have documents, you're not paying taxes, right?
Exactly. I mean, and you made an excellent point when you said sales taxes don't count. You see, because that's what they want to. That's what the idiots on the left wanted to do. They want to say that they're paying taxes. Like they don't say sales taxes because that's what they really mean. So I'm this president, he's gonna always have my support because I believe he's the greatest president this country's ever had. At least I can say that in my lifetime on this earth.
Absolutely.
I've been on here, and I've been here for 63 years.
Mm-hmm.
So, so I said, President Trump, keep on doing what you're doing, and then and kick it up a few more notches.
Exactly.
You have a good morning, man.
All right, take care. All right. If you're on hold, hang in there. I want to share some more. This is, again, from the president's press conference yesterday.
You've made changes for Afghanis' ability to apply for asylum. Do you blame all Afghans for this one man not
No, but we've had a lot of problems with Afghans because they had a lot of them coming in on these planes. Again, I show you this picture. We had a lot of them coming in on these planes that are, look at them. There was no check-in. They just poured into the plane. And many of these people are criminals. Many of these people are people that shouldn't be here. And many of them have been gotten out. I mean, we've gotten out a lot of the people that, we've taken a lot of them out of here. But they came in, legally, right? Yeah, I know, the old story. Many are wonderful, yeah, I'm sure.
I said many are here legally, though. What should they think in terms of their prospects?
Well, they can't be happy, okay? They can't be happy. Because what's taking place between that, if you look at Somalia, they're taking over Minnesota. And we got a lot of problems with the gangs, with all of the things taking place in Minnesota. We have an incompetent governor, a dope. We have a dope governor. They can't be happy about what's going on. And if you talk about the Afghans, there's a problem because so many bad ones came in on the planes. They just walked in. Whoever the strongest people were physically in a way, but whoever the strongest, they got on the planes. There was no check-in. They just swamped the planes. They took off. We had no idea who they were.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, my goodness. These people on the left, you blame all Afghans. The press, they think they're so smart, and they're just as dumb can be. All right, let me see. I got a lot of others. I played this at the top, but for those that are just tuning in, I mean, this is just sad.
I must unfortunately tell you that just seconds before I went on, right now I heard that Sarah Beckstrom of West Virginia, one of the guardsmen that we're talking about, highly respected, young, magnificent person, started service in June of 2023, outstanding in every way. She's just passed away. She's no longer with us. She's looking down at us right now. Her parents are with her. It's just happened. She was savagely attacked. She's dead. She's not with us. Incredible person. Outstanding in every single way, in every department. That's horrible.
It sure is. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I'm Samuel. I'm calling from the D.C. And I just wanted to say, doesn't it concern you that Trump got sexually blackmailed by Mossad and pimped his daughter out on Epstein Island?
None of what you've said is true. And here you are. Excuse me.
And all the people
excuse me. If you're not going to let me speak, we're not going to talk. Okay. If he's really calling from D.C., that's what he's worried about. His city is under attack. You know, did you hear the anger in that guy's voice? Just the complete anger, just total rage in that caller's voice. D.C. Think about it. If there was a terrorist attack in your city, would you have your anger where his was? I don't think you would. You know, what the left have been doing, I wanted to...
Vance?
This is... You know, J.D. Vance is the front runner to be the second MAGA president. Whether President Trump runs in 2028 and J.D. runs in 2032 or whatever, he's first in line to be the second MAGA president. And they're out there trying to destroy his reputation. And I'm not going to let that happen. This is Joy Reid on a podcast interview a few days ago.
Vance has a problem in that the base of MAGA is fundamentally racist. Yeah. And I know people don't like it when you say it, but it's the emergence from the Tea Party to MAGA.
Yeah.
Tea Party, when you finally did the actual data, PRRI and others, the thing that most motivated them was race and hatred of non-white immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
What most motivates MAGA? Hatred of non-white immigrants.
Yeah.
They're obsessed with non-white immigrants and undocumented people. They use the term illegals, which is just the N-word for brown people.
100%.
If you want to say the N-word and it's about brown people, you say illegals.
Illegal.
I'm sorry I said it again. That is me saying the N-word about that is what it is, right? And that's what motivates them. So they can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his wife under the bus. Poor Usha. Or she's in on it, right? And she's
playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, she's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay. Holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Keep in mind, they're talking about a widow whose husband's assassination was in 4K, seen by more people than any other assassination in real time.
It's some weird shit.
Baby. Don't do that to Jason. I'm going to start thinking something's going on. Why are you holding the back of his head?
Okay, let me rewind it. And, you know, I want to break this down a little bit.
Vance has a problem in that the base of MAGA is fundamentally racist.
Yeah.
Where does she get that from? You know, if you've been to a Trump rally, you know the MAGA movement is the most diverse political movement this country has ever seen. You go to a Trump rally, it is ethnically diverse, skin color diverse, religiously diverse, gender diverse. It is, and here you have J.D. Vance, who's in an interracial relationship, that we support him, right? Who would be supporting if it's a movement that's based just on racism, as Joyless Reed here says? Why would we have as our front runner for the second MAGA president, the vice president, in an interracial relationship? That doesn't even make sense. And the front runner to be the second MAGA president is JD, but who's in place after that? Another non-white person, Hispanic, Marco Rubio. So what she's saying just makes no sense.
Vance has a problem in that the base of MAGA is fundamentally racist.
Yeah. Everybody in the base of MAGA supported him and support him still today.
People don't like it when you say it, but it's the emergence from the Tea Party to MAGA.
Yeah.
Tea Party, when you finally did the actual data, PRRI and others, the thing that most motivated them was race and hatred of non-white immigrants.
Mm-hmm.
What most motivates MAGA? Hatred of non-white immigrants. Yeah. They're obsessed with non-white immigrants and undocumented people. They use the term illegal.
It's not that we're obsessed with non-white immigrants, she says. No, we don't support illegal immigrants being here. Now, most of the illegals, not all, but most of the illegals that are coming into the country are not white because they're coming from South America. But there are white illegals that are deported too. Not that many because there's not as many here, right? There was a woman from the UK who was deported the other day.
Illegals, which is just the N-word for brown people.
100%.
If you want to say the N-word and it's about brown people, you say illegals. I'm sorry I said it again. That is me saying the N-word about that is what it is, right? And that's what motivates them. So they can't have the successor to MAGA be the guy with the brown Hindu wife. They're also Christian nationalists. That ain't gonna work. That's why he's throwing his wife under the bus. Poor Usha. Or she's in on it, right? And she's
playing slap and tickle with Erica Kirk's the weirdest shit I've ever seen. Yeah, she's like in her Tammy Faye era.
Okay, so now here's the other thing. You know, the things they're saying and doing to Erica Kirk, what they're trying to do is they're doing a preemptive takedown of the second MAGA president, J.D. Vance. They're accusing J.D. Vance and Erica Kirk of having an affair. Okay? That's why they have this fake story that she's pregnant, but she was impregnated after Charlie was assassinated. That's not going to last too long because she's obviously not showing. And they're implying because Erica Kirk hugged J.D. at that event that JD impregnated her.
Holding on the back of his head and rubbing on his head.
Some weird shit.
Baby. Don't do that to Jason. I'm going to start thinking something's going on. Why are you holding the back of his head? I'm like, you're not doing that right thing. You're supposed to be a widow. You in leather pants?
Yeah.
That's not widow wear.
Could you imagine if...
Wouldn't it be the most perfect fairy tale, MAGA fairy tale?
Yeah.
If he finally sees the light that he needs a white queen instead of this brown Hindu. I mean, I'm not saying that's happening.
Right.
But she's going to say it. She's not saying it's happening, but she's just saying it.
Maybe that Usha's not even in on it. Maybe she's whatever. But that's one entrant. Another entrant is frankly Donald Trump Jr. If he can, keep it together, because he's got the name.
Yeah.
He's the son.
Yeah.
Maybe it's him, right?
Right.
And then there's other entrants. Bannon can't do it because he's sloppy and look a hot mess, and everybody's like a ugly man. You know what I mean? He's hideous. That's not gonna be him. So it's like, well, who could it be? Charlie Kirk was said to be one of the contestants to inherit the throne. Well, he's gone. Mm-hmm. And then the other person there are two other people who I think are potential inheritors that we don't talk about as much because neither of them are politicians. One of them is Tucker Carlson.
Yeah,
who has been positioning himself for a long time.
When he's not getting attacked by demons.
In his sleep.
That's fucking crazy now.
Come on now.
Let me ask.
He says it out loud.
But honestly, if you were Beelzebub or a demon, who best to get into bed with?
I want to tell you
Oh my goodness. Potty mouth on these women. Really? You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, how's it going, Brian? I'm Walker from Texas.
All right. Oh, really? Are you a Texas Ranger?
No, but I'm from Texas. My name's Walker. I appreciate it if we could stop with the jokes and, get to it.
Oh, okay, Walker from Texas, who's not a Texas Ranger. What's on your mind?
I mean, I know. I know. Literally in first grade, this is what you get. Anyway, we'll move on. I'm just curious. Do you have like one thing, like anything negative, any criticism of the second Trump administration? Is it all like hunky dory? Any issues whatsoever, or like where
of President Trump? No, I always approve of President Trump. I've never disagreed or taken issue with anything President Trump has said or done. And so it's been over 10 years.
Not one criticism, like not one thing you could think. I mean, my own mother. There's things I could think of that I wish.
The only thing, if I could tell the president one thing, is he works too hard, 20 hours a day to make America great again, and he works too hard to make this country great again.
And I wasn't sure what I was looking at.
I take that back. I did disagree. I do disagree with him on one thing. I disagree with President Trump on one thing. It just came to mind.
I'd love to hear it.
I disagree with him when he says, I'll never get tired of winning. He says, you're going to be sick of winning. We're going to be winning. So, no, I'm not tired of winning. Sorry, Brian, Mr. President. I got to disagree with you on that.
Man? This is pathetic.
Mm-hmm. I'm pathetic, yes.
Dude. Yeah. I'm flabbergasted. I can't imagine.
You're speechless.
Any person or any institution that I couldn't levy one criticism against if I was being honest.
Of President Trump?
Makes me think you're being dishonest.
No.
How dishonest?
No, it's been over a decade, and I support. See, what you got to understand is this: everything President Trump is doing in this second administration, the Never Trumpers shot him in Butler to try to stop him from doing it.
Brian, I I mean,
yes, Walker.
You can't, like 100. You don't see how if everything's perfect 100% of the time, there's nothing you change. You don't think that you're just following everything and taking that as gospel rather than thinking for yourself and thinking, oh, well, maybe I have an opinion that would contradict what's happening at the top.
Well, I will say this. You did say one thing that I think is really awesome. You just acknowledged that the gospel is the truth. So I'm glad that you acknowledged that.
Saying.
Yeah, you said I take it as the gospel.
Using an allegory. No, Brian, hold on. That's not what I said.
Okay, you don't believe the gospel is the truth? You don't believe the gospel is the truth? Oh, my goodness.
Okay, well, now you're completely diverting. This is really sad, man. I mean, I just I asked you, my one question, that's all I'm asking, is there one thing you would change or one disagreement you have? You clearly don't. That's okay. That's all right.
Oh, it is in America to have my opinions? Wow, that's awesome. I'm glad.
No, yeah, it is. I mean, you really got the better of me on this one, man.
Being in Texas, you should be a big fan of President Trump in Texas, since he stopped Invasion USA, of which Texas was on the front lines of that.
Yeah, I think closing the border is one of the few things he's done well, and I appreciate it. Unfortunately, there's a lot.
What do you mean one of the things? You don't support the big beautiful bill that made the Trump tax cuts permanent that you, I'm sure, take advantage of. No tax on tips, no tax on overtime, all these things. These are all great things.
Brian, none of these things have manifested yet.
Well, because it's not January. No, the big beautiful bill goes. Excuse me. The big beautiful bill has that we haven't done our taxes yet. The taxes you file at the beginning.
Big beautiful bill. I asked you if you had one criticism of the.
I'm not. Well, listen. It's my show, and I'll talk about what I want on the Walker, who's not a Texas Ranger show. You can decide what the topics are. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, boy. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. It's Jack in Wyoming.
Hey, Jack in Wyoming. What's on your mind?
Yeah, there's one thing I think people never want. Look at Joy Reid's shirt. Do you see that?
Yeah, I did. I did. It's class act, isn't it?
Yeah, outstanding. I think one thing that people are overlooking, I was in the military. I'm a retired police officer, and I notice things and I remember things. You remember back, Jimmy Carter and a few other presidents have sent these military for these Meals on Wheels with no ammunition. They didn't have rounds in their weapon.
When?
They were issued.
Where?
Oh, Jimmy Carter.
Oh, yeah, you're talking about the embassy in Tehran. Yeah, when the Iranians took the U.S. embassy, Jimmy Carter would not allow the Marines to have ammunition in their weapons that were guarding the embassy in Tehran. That is correct. That's how they took it from the Marines. They had no bullets. That's correct. They had guns they could throw at them, but they had no bullets. You are correct, yes.
Yes, sir. And Donald Trump made daggone sure that wasn't going to happen again.
I was surprised that they had live ammunition, the guard in D.C. I was surprised at that.
Actually, I was too.
I was like, wow, that's awesome.
All right, well, have a good holiday, my brother.
All right, take care. All right, we're going to take a quick break. If you're on hold, stand by. Got a lot more to cover. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. Make sure you follow and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. We'll be right back.
Whether you're a maker, an event planner, or small business owner, your creativity deserves the perfect design. At digitalartistrymm.etsy.com, you'll find beautifully crafted printable templates and scalable vector graphics and SVG cut files that are made to bring your vision to life. digitalartistrymm.etsy.com have everything you're looking for, from elegant wedding suites and stationery to Canva invites you can edit yourself, as well as planners, even resume templates. Everything is designed designed to be customized in just minutes. When you visit the shop, make sure to explore their brand new A to Z floral split monogram bundle and the updated undated planner packs. They're perfect for staying stylish and organized all year long. Every purchase includes a free one-time minor edit, plus extended commercial licenses and custom orders for your business needs. Discover the art of easy designs at digitalartistrymm.etsy.com, where creativity meets convenience. Download, design, and make something beautiful at digitalartistrymm.etsy.com.
This is George Colony. I'm in the real estate business in Fort Lauderdale, Florida with Kai's Real Estate. I've been in business for 6 decades. People often ask me, what's the right time to buy or sell real estate? To tell you the truth, it's always the right time. You just need to have the right advice from the right advisor. You can call me anytime because I answer my phone on the first ring. My number is 954-801-7320. That's my personal cell phone number. And I answer it on the first ring every time. Please give me a call. I'm happy to answer any question that you have. My cell phone number is 954-801-7320.
All right, we're back. I'm Brian. If you're on hold, stand by. It is Black Friday. If you want to support all of my content, go to mypillow.com. There are huge Black Friday specials going on. 50% off the MyPillow towels with my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane. 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets. I have the towels. I have the sheets. 50% off the Giza Dream Sheets, okay? They are 100% Giza cotton, which is the finest cotton in the world. And these sheets are amazing. I call them the Goldilocks sheets because no matter what time of year, whether it's in the 50s this morning here in South Florida, that's the dead of winter for us. Or if it's the hot time of the summertime. With the Giza Dream Sheets from Mike Lindell, you're always the perfect temperature, just like Goldilocks. They're 50% off. The MyPillow My Slippers, $39.98. Look at all these Black Friday specials. The 5-pack children's Bible story pillows from Mike Lindell, just $29.98. Blankets, comforters, socks, huge sales. The kitchen towels, a blowout sale on the MyPillow themselves, just $17.98 for the MyPillow that started it all. The MyPillow cross necklace, okay, comes in 2 different styles, 50% off, all with my promo code Kane. You can use my promo code Kane at checkout site-wide. Do your Christmas shopping. And those of you that are regular listeners, you know that Mike Lindell has been sponsoring my early show before the radio show the last couple of months. And to keep that, please go to mypillow.com and take advantage of these huge Black Friday specials. I'm approaching the end of the month, obviously. I'm going to find out next week if they're going to continue through December. And if we do well this month and in December, in January, I'll be able to make it a permanent sponsorship. So please do your Christmas shopping. There's plenty of time. Go to mypillow.com and use my promo code Kane at checkout, Kane, for these huge Black Friday specials. All right, to the phones we go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Brian. It's JJ from Mass.
Hey, JJ. By the way, those of you watching, there's a best of show running on the radio today, so you're getting on an exclusive podcast here this morning. What's up, JJ?
Well, I was just wanted to ask you, with the eyes of the Ranger are upon you, how are you doing this morning with that Texas Ranger?
Oh, you mean Walker, who's not a Texas Ranger? Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
I
mean, he couldn't even think of a. He's trying to pass himself off as a Texan. That's the only name he could think of.
It's pretty funny. I said when you said Walker, I had to chuckle a little bit. It's good to have a little bit of a laugh. I mean, yesterday, being Thanksgiving was, I was very thankful for so many. Had a really wonderful Thanksgiving. Thankful for God, family, country, Trump. Very thankful for him and just good people, and then obviously very sad about Sarah. For me, when I look at I look at any soldier who dies, any righteous soldier. I believe she was just as righteous as they come. I believe they ascend, and they're basically with Saint Michael. They're in the army. He's the guardian of souls. I know you know who Saint Michael
Well,
is,
how long have you been listening this morning, JJ?
About 20 minutes.
Oh, shame on you. We're approaching 2 hours. We're approaching. Okay, let me just recap what I opened with.
Okay.
That's okay. I'm just teasing. Let me recap what I opened with, because I'd like to hear your thoughts. See, I believe this was a deep state op. As soon as I heard this Islamic terrorist from Afghanistan worked with the CIA, and there's stories coming out about his living situation in America. This is a companion piece to that video that the Congress people put out, that CIA video a couple weeks ago. And I believe they were trying to create another Kent state. They attacked the guardsmen. They were trying to cause a firefight in an area with lots of civilians in D.C. on a very busy day, the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And they were trying to get some friendly fire incidents of civilians killed by National Guardsmen to turn public opinion against Trump using the Guard in our cities. I think that's the big deep state op is what I think. But what are your thoughts?
Well, look, the CIA uses deranged, unstable men to do sort of deranged, unstable things, really, to do evil stuff. And, there's whether that guy was, maybe they did something to him and kicked him out, but that caused him to go a little crazy, or either way, I mean, I believe you're right on that. It's sort of isn't it sort of it's just one big, gigantic, cascading deep state operation with regard to everything that Trump has done. They're pulling out, to me, they're just pulling out all the stops. I mean, this seditious six, but I just believe that the federal government, they're part of the friggin' deep. They're like the R&D division of the deep state cartel. They're just, there's so much evil going on, but we have these. Trump is. I think we're winning against the evil, but we're still we're in a fight, and it really does boil down to right versus wrong, good versus evil. And but I do think this guy just being associated with the CIA. I mean, they know how to control their dogs. They know how. I mean,
out of all the Muslims in the country, a CIA Muslim, come on.
Exactly, in Washington D.C. No, when I think about that, well, as soon as you mention the CIA, and I did hear that yesterday, I'm just like, okay, they find people that are capable and they know have done evil, demonic stuff. They know that they are that way, but they control them on a leash here and there, and then they use the shock collar, whatever, however you want to. Then they set them loose, and who knows what they did to this guy? The way that he got in here is pretty pathetic. It's just but I'll say this about Trump. His post, I saw part of his post yesterday, or whenever the heck it was, about, and I think I heard you play it, or I saw it on the TV when I was going in and out of the kitchen. To me, that was one of the best posts, because it was like he's channeling the Constitution, the preamble. When he mentioned domestic tranquility, we're getting back to the roots of our, when he said that, that's what Trump is doing. Trump is he's simplifying things. Here's this was the plan, and it's a work in progress. It always has been, but there are evil people that are trying to destroy us, and I just love that. He's gonna get rid, just stop it, put a pause on everything, which is, I wanted to see that for the longest time.
When you look at the video that Congress people put out, it was like what a lot of people call predictive programming, right? It was foreshadowing this incident. Yeah. Well, it's just what they put out was just total. The CIA. One of them. Yeah. It was an operation to stir up trouble, to put doubt in every link of the chain of command, and that, well, wait a minute, what's an illegal order? Most of the enlisted guys, they don't know what the, they just follow orders. That video, the context of that video, they were talking to the soldiers in the National Guard and being sent to American cities. That's who they were talking to.
Yeah, well, them and... when they do something like that, Brian, yes, I believe that was directed at them. It was directed at an operation that they had underway. But at the same time, every soldier in the world heard that. Every soldier in the world heard that.
Absolutely.
And it's just incredibly. It's 100%. Sedition is not a direct action. It's a verbal. It's kind of almost like fire, in a theater when there's no damn fire there. It's pretty much exactly what it is.
That's correct.
But in a military sense, you're causing the junior officers, and then the enlisted men hear this, and they're like, "What is this?" I don't.
Well, listen, JJ, I gotta move on, but I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving, and we'll talk again. All right.
Sounds good.
All right, take care. If you're on hold, hang in there. This is Slotkin, the CIA congressman. This is, people in the CIA should not be in government. There should be a law against CIA people holding office. This is her a month ago. This is before that video dropped, okay? Before the video dropped, so this is a month ago.
As a CIA officer, the idea that intelligence officers could be asked to target Americans turns my stomach, and it would shift us into a modern-day surveillance state. Turning the federal government against Trump's enemies goes hand in hand with his use of force in American cities, both federal law enforcement and the military. As of today, the president has attempted to deploy more than 7,000 National Guard members across 5 cities, including right here in Washington. In August, the administration ordered the creation of 2 new National Guard units, a standing quick reaction force that can deploy anywhere in the country, and then separately, National Guard units in all 50 states focused on quelling so-called civil disturbances. At this point, Trump has been very clear about his intent. At Quantico, speaking as commander-in-chief, he instructed his military brass to use cities as, quote, training grounds. And many times, he's floated the idea of invoking the Insurrection Act so that military units can raid, detain, and arrest Americans. The president has already deployed ICE and other federal law enforcement to these same cities across America. In some cases, these federal officers are playing fast and loose with their tactics, which sooner or later could lead to a deadly escalation. Okay. The videos out of Chicago are shocking. Federal agents pulling their weapons on highways, firing tear gas into neighborhoods right before a Halloween parade, injuring and even killing civilians. Many are masked, not wearing uniforms, and driving unmarked cars. For those of us who served abroad, it feels like another country. And it's only a matter of time before things get worse. By my estimation, we're about 2 weeks away from a bloody incident that spirals out of control. And this is just the kind of incident that Trump wants to justify more force coming in.
So she was off by a couple of weeks, but a month later, we have this CIA Islamic Afghan terrorist shoot 2 guardsmen, murdering one of them. All right. If you'd like to call, I know it's tough. If you'd like to call in, the number's toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you are listening. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from? All right, hold on. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning, Conservative Doug.
Oh, hey, Doug.
Hope your Thanksgiving and everybody else's Thanksgiving was great. Mine was great.
Awesome.
Anyhow, it's really annoying to see that there's so many people that go against, I would say, the 87% majority who love what President Trump is doing. You got these people just haters. They just don't appreciate anything. And that one caller called, when you asked him, well, you don't like that in Texas that they closed the border, almost like it was sounding like he was breaking his heart to say, oh, yeah, he did something good finally. You know, like, man, unappreciative. Anyway, the main thing I was calling for today is I heard that DeSantis now, with ending the taxes, is having a hard time with the Republicans who are putting in provisions that they're hoping, they're all saying, yeah, we want to end taxes. But they're putting these dumb provisions in that are never going to get the 60% majority. Like, for instance, one of them is you have your house for 20 years, you still pay school tax, but not real estate tax. And after 30 years, you don't pay any tax. But meanwhile, most people don't have the house that long. So most people aren't going to vote for that. And that's going to kill the whole damn bill. And this is just something he's working on now to try to stop that. But I'm hoping everybody will contact their people.
Well,
in
the property
Florida
tax
that
is going to be on the. They plan on it being on the ballot, and it's 50-50 whether it passes. They're going to work so hard to convince people that they're going to lose the whole every service and everything else if there's no property taxes, and the renters will vote against it out of vindictiveness to the landlord. It's not going to be an easy thing. To you and I, it seems like the easiest thing to pass at all. No more property taxes in Florida, but sadly, it won't be easy.
And they're making up these dumb stories that, first of all, the only tax that's going to be not paid is for people who are permanent residents. If you have a corporation, if you're a snowbird, you still have to pay the real estate tax. It's only for people with a homestead exemption.
That's right.
And then they said, where's the money going to, extra money?
And by the way, so if you own multiple properties, you only have one homestead exemption, so you'd have to pay taxes on the second property.
That's right. Yeah. So it's not going to really change. Plus, all the waste that they uncovered in all these counties, like one woman, they're putting billions of dollars into nonprofits.
We have so many, and how many damn dog parks do we? There's a dog park in my area. They have, they've got one part of it is for massive dogs like Great Danes. Then they've got for big dogs that are not Great Dane size but Doberman size. Then they have the medium dog park. Then they have the small. And they might even have a teacup one. But there's at least 4, maybe 5 dog parks at the same park. I mean, come on. How many dog parks do we? Give it, take. Exactly.
They know how to waste money. And that one woman who's on the legislature is on the board of a nonprofit. And she gets them $100,000.
Well, listen, I'm going to move on, Doug. But I'm glad you had a good Thanksgiving. We'll talk soon. This is Jen Psaki on MS Now. MSNBC is now MS Now. MS Now, the left-wing cable network formerly known as MSDNC or MS13BC.
What do you think, as a lawyer? What do you think the consequences should be for people who are abiding by following these steps from the commander-in-chief when they seem to be complete overreaches of power?
They're following unlawful commands from Donald Trump. And
see, now they've gone to a whole nother level. The soldier, it's not, you shouldn't follow illegal orders. Jen Psaki's guest is saying they already are following illegal orders, so the military should rise up.
What do you think, as a lawyer?
That's what she's saying.
What do you think the consequences should be for people who are abiding by following these steps from the commander-in-chief when they seem to be complete overreaches of power?
They're following unlawful commands from Donald Trump. And if you're committing offenses and your defense is going to be, I was just following orders. That didn't work out so well at Nuremberg. It certainly didn't work out so well for Lieutenant Calley when he, engaged in mass murder.
Lieutenant Calley was involved in a massacre in Vietnam, if you want to look that up.
Massacre. And, Pete Hegseth just doing whatever Donald Trump tells him to do, like initiating a criminal investigation that could result in a court-martial of Senator Kelly for simply stating accurately what the military law provides, or Kash Patel's FBI opening criminal probes of members of Congress for speaking the truth. That is something that will someday, when the rule of law comes back into the light of day, will have to be tackled. They'll have to be held accountable for those abuses.
Okay. So the reason I shared this is what the liberals are telling us is that when they're in power, if they get back in power, Pete Hegseth and others in the administration are all going to be arrested and tried on war crime charges, guys. That's what they're talking about. It's pretty frightening. I'm going to take a quick break. My name's Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. We'll be right back. I'm Brian, and it's time to check in with our real estate guy, George Colony. I got a call on the air the other day from a listener. He's in his 40s, and he and his wife are renters. They've never owned a home, but they've dreamed of owning a home. And a lot of people today in the current real estate market think that it's impossible for them to go from renter to owner, but you can actually turn renters, maybe even lifelong renters, into homeowners. Can you talk a little bit about that, George Colony?
Yeah, renting is forever been a question: should I rent or should I own? And what I've done is found a way for people to own their home for pretty much what they're paying in rent. The difference between renting and owning is, let's say I pay $3,000 a month in rent to a landlord, and basically my contract is I'll give you, landlord, $36,000. You pay your building, and at the end of the time that I rent, I end up with nothing. The problem is that $36,000 was paid with after-tax money. So it's a very expensive way to own a home. Turn it around, when you own a home, you can take a tax deduction for most of what you're paying every month. And I've got a way for you to own your home instead of renting, and it just makes common sense for you.
Yeah, and you know, listen, I know a lot of people, rent's pretty high in Florida these days. When people tell me how much they pay in rent, I basically live free owning my home compared to what renters are paying these days. No, it's
that's
not
right. That's right. If you rent, obviously the money that you give you're paying for someone else's home. If you own, it's paying for your own home, and eventually you're going to have appreciation, and you're going to have your money back and a profit, and it's the way to build wealth. That's why all these tall buildings are going up, because they want you to come and rent from them so you can pay for that tall building and lose your money when it's all said and done, and also lose the tax deductibility of it.
Yeah. So, you know, and I know a lot of renters think I'll never be able to own a home. That's not the case. Call George Colony, and you have a way for them to own a home where they can save all those closing costs too, right?
I do. Actually, you know, I've been at this thing for 62 years, Brian, and I've found several answers that normally the homeowner or the renter, they don't hear it. So give me a call. I'm glad to help you. And I think that it's worth 15 minutes of your time to figure out, can you do better than you've done in the past?
That's right. So I'm going to give you George Colony's number. This number rings directly to George's cell phone. It's 954-801-7320. If you're a renter, or maybe someone in your family's a renter, and they want to own, call George Colony. He can make it happen in incredible ways. And you'll save boatloads of money, not just each and every month, but year after year. 954-801-7320. That's 954-801-7320. All right, George Colony, we'll talk soon.
Make it a good day, Brian.
Absolutely. He's a good guy, guys. Give him a call. All right, we're back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. Good morning. How are you?
All right. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, I was just wondering, my name is Walker from Texas.
No, Walker, it's one call per day. It's one call per day. Because I'm done talking to you. I am done talking to you. Oh, my. Listen, I don't have a lot of rules on the program, all right? And one of the rules is it's one call per show, okay? And I decide when the calls are over. So you're welcome to call me back on another show, all right, another episode. I may be back this afternoon. I may not be. I don't know what I'm doing this afternoon, but I might be doing some shopping with my wife or with my daughter. But I have that one rule, one call per show. But if I do one this afternoon, you can call me. If it's tomorrow, you can call me, all right? Walker, who's not a Texas Ranger. Okay, so if you're just tuning in, at the beginning of the program, I was telling you that I believe that this terrorist event in D.C. on Wednesday is a deep state operation, a companion to that sad video. I mean, it's awful. This is a week ago. This is Senator Slockett, the CIA senator, who's the first person in the video, right? This is a week ago.
Look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago. It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is.
See, hear that? See, remember I was telling you predictive programming? This is. I don't believe in coincidences. We're seeing a beat of things since Charlie Kirk's assassination. And now the National Guard incident didn't turn out like they wanted it to, in that other guardsmen took down their terrorist, their patsy.
Look at these videos coming out of places like Chicago. It makes me incredibly nervous that we're about to see people in law enforcement, people in uniform military get nervous, get stressed, shoot at American civilians. It is a very, very stressful situation for these law enforcement and for the communities on the ground. So it was basically a warning to say, like, if you're asked to do something, particularly against American citizens, look at these.
See? Boom. And here we are. Listen, everyone, it is Black Friday. Thanks so much for your participation. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you would like to support my program, become a Patreon supporter. There's a link to my Patreon page in the description of this episode on whatever platform you're listening on. And if you become a Patreon supporter, there's lots of benefits to that. You get access to commercial-free editions of my podcast episodes. You get access to exclusive live chats that I do. Just like on YouTube, it's a video chat with me. It's exclusive live chats just for Patreon supporters. It's a troll-free zone. And that live stream is actually done on the Patreon platform. You get access to that. And a lot of other exclusive content that I and my wife both post to Patreon. If you become a top Patreon supporter, you get a live thank you shout out on every podcast episode, and you get your name up on the screen. The names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, Irene, and Doris. These are my top Patreon supporters. Thank you all. Again, if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're listening on, or you can go to patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. That's patreon.com/Real Brian Craig Show. Now, those of you watching live, I'm going to sign off now, but if you go over and listen on the radio, there's a best of playing right now that you can tune into till 9. All right, I'm Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I'll talk to you next time.